In other worlds that have successfully unified, did they maintain their individual freedom of thought?
To varying degrees. Some to a very high degree, others less so, depending upon their history, their psychological makeup and the needs of their own survival. Your life in the world has been relatively easy compared to where other races have developed. Most places where intelligent life exists have been colonized, for there are not many terrestrial planets such as your own that provide such a wealth of biological resources. Their freedom, in large part, depended upon the wealth of their environments. But they have all been successful in thwarting alien infiltration, and have established their own lines of trade, commerce and communication based upon their own self-determination. This is a rare accomplishment, and must be earned and protected.
What will it take to achieve human unity?
Humanity is very vulnerable in the greater community. This vulnerability, in time, can foster a fundamental cooperation amongst the human family, for you must join and unite in order to survive and to advance. This is part of having a greater community awareness. If this is based upon the principles of human contribution, freedom and self-expression, then your self-sufficiency can become very strong and very rich. But there must be greater cooperation in the world. People cannot live for themselves alone, or put their own personal goals above and beyond the needs of everyone else. Some may view this as a loss of freedom. We see it as a guarantee for future freedom. For given the current attitudes prevalent in the world today, your future freedom would be very difficult to secure or maintain. Take heed. Those who are driven by their own selfishness are the perfect candidates for foreign influence and manipulation. If they are in positions of power, they will give over their nation's wealth, their nation's freedom and their nation's resources, in order to gain advantage for themselves. Therefore, greater cooperation is required. Surely you can see this. Surely this is apparent even within your own world. But this is very different from the life of the collective, where races have been dominated and controlled, where those who are compliant are brought into the collectives, and those who are not are alienated or destroyed. Surely such an establishment, though it may have considerable influence, cannot be beneficial for its members. And yet this is the path that many in the greater community have taken. We do not wish to see humanity fall into such an organization. That would be a great tragedy and a loss.
How is the human perspective different from yours?
One of the differences is that we have developed a greater community perspective, which is a less self-centered way of looking at the world. It is a point of view that gives great clarity and can provide great certainty regarding the smaller problems that you face in your daily affairs. If you can solve a great problem, you can solve lesser ones. You have a great problem. Every human being in the world faces this great problem. It can unite you and enable you to overcome your long-standing differences and conflicts. It is that great and that powerful. This is why we say there is a possibility for redemption within the very circumstances that threaten your well-being and your future. We know that the power of knowledge within the individual can restore that individual and all of their relationships to a higher degree of accomplishment, recognition, and ability. You must discover this for yourself. Our lives are very different. One of the differences is that our lives are given to service, a service that we have chosen. We have the freedom to choose, and thus our choice is real and meaningful and is based upon our own understanding. Amongst our group are representatives from several different worlds. We have come together in service to humanity. We represent a greater alliance that is more spiritual in nature.
This message is coming through one man. Why aren't you contacting everybody if this is so important?
It is merely a matter of efficiency. We do not control who is selected to receive us. That is a matter for the unseen ones, those whom you could rightly call angels. We think of them in this way. They have selected this person, a person who has no position in the world, who is not recognized in the world, an individual who has been chosen because of his qualities and because of his heritage in the greater community. We are glad to have one through whom we can speak. If we spoke through more, they perhaps would disagree with one another, and the message would become confused and lost. We understand, from our own studenthood, that the transmission of spiritual wisdom is generally given through one, with the support of others. This individual must bear the weight, and the burden and the risk of being so chosen. We respect him for doing this, and we understand what a burden it can be. This will be misconstrued, perhaps, and that is why the wise must remain hidden. We must remain hidden. He must remain hidden. In this way, the message can be given, and the messenger can be preserved. For there will be hostility towards this message. The visitors will oppose it, and are opposing it already. Their opposition can be significant, but will primarily be aimed at the messenger himself. It is for this reason that the messenger must be protected. We know that the answers to these questions will generate more questions, and many of these cannot be answered, perhaps even for a long time. The wise anywhere must live with questions that they cannot yet answer. It is through their patience and their perseverance that real answers emerge, and that they are able to experience them and embody them. These questions were sent to the New Knowledge Library by many of the first readers of the Allies material. Final words. Humanity is at a new beginning. It is faced with a grave situation. The need for a new education and understanding is paramount. We are here to serve this need at the request of the Unseen Ones. They are relying upon us to share our wisdom, for we live in the physical universe, as do you. We are not angelic beings. We are not perfect. We have not achieved great heights of spiritual awareness and accomplishment. And therefore our message to you about the greater community, we trust, will be more relevant and more easily received. The Unseen Ones know far more than we about life in the universe, and about the levels of advancement and accomplishment that are available and that are practiced in many places. Yet they have asked us to speak regarding the reality of physical life, because we are fully engaged there. And we have learned through our own trials and errors the importance and the meaning of what we are sharing with you. Thus, we come as the allies of humanity, for such we are. Be thankful that you have allies that can help you and that can educate you, and that can support your strength, your freedom and your accomplishment. For without this assistance, the prospect of your surviving the kind of alien infiltration that you are experiencing now would be very limited. Yes, there would be a few individuals who would come to realize the situation as it actually exists, but their numbers would not be great enough, and their voices would go unheard. In this, we can only ask for your trust. We hope that through the wisdom of our words, and through the opportunities you have to learn their meaning and relevance, that we can gain this trust over time, for you have allies in the greater community. You have great friends beyond this world who have suffered the challenges that you are facing now, and have achieved success. Because we were assisted, we must now assist others. That is our sacred covenant. It is to this that we are firmly committed.